sisters. I'm just sharing a brief word with you on tonight. Just wanted to give you some words of encouragement when it comes to doing what you do. It's a lot of people in this life that we're doing stuff. There's new endeavors that I'm working on, that the Lord is calling me to do in terms of, a business. And this time I'm taking it slowly, and I'm working my way up, and I'm just doing some observing and understanding how to build stuff from the ground up. And as we build anything from the ground up, it's not always going to be easy. You're not always going to have the support that you believe that you should have. But I want you to be encouraged and inspired and take it step by step whenever you're pursuing something. And it just came to my spirit earlier today. I was saying, well, Constance, why do you do what you do? Because sometimes it can be discouraging when you try to do stuff and you're doing something positive. You're not doing anything selfish, and you don't have anyone, you don't have a whole lot of people to support you. But what I want you to know is that the Holy Spirit is with you, and He will be your covering, and He will give you all the support that you ultimately need to succeed. So, when you're doing something that the Lord has led you to do, you always have to be in remembrance as to why you're doing what you're doing. You have to make sure that your pursuit is a pursuit that the Lord has called you to pursue. Your passion, your gift. And once you get that confirmation, I've had plenty of confirmation in my life, it was just me deciding to move forward, me deciding to believe in what the Lord had said to me. And that's what had hindered me from doing several wonderful things that the Lord had placed in my heart. And the Lord is telling me that now is the time to do the work. Do the ultimate work that He's called me to do. I've done some of the work, but a lot of times I hadn't done it full-fledged, like I'm pursuing it now. And I know that it's the calling of the Lord on my life, and it's the right time because I'm in the right headspace to pursue those things in which He's called me to do. I wanted to provide this message to you because I wanted to give people encouragement who maybe feel like they don't have the backing that they need, or who may be doing something positive, whether it be volunteer work, whether it be mentorship. Like I'm about to pursue a lot of things in that area as far as volunteering and mentoring, and just doing more speaking engagements. I've done it. I've done a lot of speaking, but it hasn't been on a consistent level like it's about to be in the upcoming months. When you're doing these things, you may find some difficulty in businesses, and developing partnerships. You might find some difficulty in people actually supporting what you're doing. But you have to do what you've been called to do simply because the Holy Spirit called you to do it. So I want you to be mindful of how powerful it is to pursue the goals and the dream and the vision that the Lord has for you, despite of what you see and what you feel around you. And when you feel discouraged, I want you to remember why you're doing what you're doing in the first place. You have to remember that this is not about so people can like me. so people can love me, so people could worship me. Your goal, your vision is ultimately about doing the things the Holy Spirit has called you to do. It's not about you. Yes, He's using you as a vessel. Yes, that's true indeed. And yes, you will be blessed. But don't think that whatever you're doing is about you. Don't think that it's so that you can excel, so that people will know your name. Your ultimate purpose, your ultimate mission must be to be a blessing to the Holy Spirit, to do the things that He's called you to do, even if you should walk alone. And I'm so thankful because God has placed a awesome mentor in my life. So I have someone, I've been praying for a mentor for several years, and I knew that it was so important for me to have one, and God has blessed me with a beautiful mentor, beautiful in spirit and in truth, and is also a speaker, and a very successful speaker. So what I'd like to say to you tonight is that when you get discouraged on the things that you do, I'll give a perfect example. Just like many of us, we do YouTube. I started off doing YouTube because I wanted to share my poetry, but I ultimately did it because the Holy Spirit was leading me to encourage. That's what his purpose was for. So if you're doing YouTube, and sometimes that can be a slow grind, sometimes it can be, people can get to know you quickly. But I beg of you not to think about how many subscribers you have. I beg of you not to think about how many views you have, how many people actually, pay attention to what you're saying, or how many comments you get. But think about what the Holy Spirit is leading you to do. Because ultimately, we don't need accolations. We don't need approval to do what the Holy Spirit has called us to do. We must do His work regardless. We must do His work if we see no one. We must do His work if no one was to comment, like, or subscribe. Or that's why I don't really tell people to subscribe to my channel, because I feel like if the Lord is leading you to do something and be encouraged by me in some way, He will bring that about. So I wanted to leave you with some words of love, of truth, of encouragement. I just want to reiterate that when you are pursuing your goals, your gifts, your talents, your vision, pursue it in spirit and in truth, and believe what the Lord has implanted in you. I remember several years ago, I used to say to some people, when I was going to a e-group for a church here in Charlotte, a rather big church, I used to say, I feel pregnant. And I was pregnant in the spirit because the Lord had so many things for me to do. But the physical me, my mind wasn't there yet to achieve those goals, to follow that vision. So God had to position me and put me in a place where I could hear Him clearly, and I could have an unshakable faith. So now that He's got me in the place where He's called me to be, I am moving. I am moving forward with diligence and confidence and strength and motivation and determination. And whenever little trickles of doubt, whenever little trickles of discouragement comes to my mind and my heart, the first thing I think is, why am I doing what I'm doing? And I think to myself, well, Constance, I'm doing it because the Lord has called me to do this. It's God's calling on my life. So I must proceed. I must go forward. I must believe, because it's His calling, and what the Lord has called you to do must be done. There are several people that may never see the fruits or may never see the true impact of what they're doing while they're even alive. But you better believe that if you're doing the work that God has called you to do, that it is a blessing. It's a blessing to a lot of people. A lot of people who never will voice that or never will say anything to you. It is a blessing. So dear brothers and sisters, this message is simply to encourage you to continue to move forward in spirit and truth, and continue to move forward despite of what you see, and understand that it's not about you. It's not about being liked. It's not about people coddling you. It's not about being famous. It's not about what attention you can get, bringing people to you. It's not about compliments. It's simply about doing the will of the Lord, of the Most High God, I should say, the Most High Lord, I should say, and leaving everything else in His hands, understanding that He has a master plan that we don't even know fully. We don't know the full extent of His work. We are just part of the plan, fulfilling our portion of that plan. So I just wanted to leave this message with you on tonight. I pray that all is well and that you are truly blessed by it. Take care, my loves. Do the will of the Lord, and you shall be blessed. Peace and blessings.